What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Sisko and Mike podcast. Actually, this is the catch-up episode, right? Where we're talking about a lot of the current stuff. You know, it's been 30 years since Selena passed away. Well, since she was murdered, actually. And this week, coming up, Yolanda Saldivar, who was her assistant and who was the one that murdered her, is actually up for parole.
But has it been 30 years, bro?
30 years, dog.
To the point, to the time.
To the time.
Damn.
Yeah, right? So it is one of those things where, fuck, time flies at the same time, but then it's like, it's also like, what do we think about that shit? Like, just because was Selena, I don't even know we can call her an icon right now, you know, but we'll talk about that later.
Well, she's an icon.
Well, yeah, she's an icon.
She broke barriers, bro.
She's a staple. But there's a lot of things that, you know, that maybe contribute to that. Like, first of all, like, I don't know how I feel about her being on parole, you know, or being eligible for parole. It's like one of those things where, yeah, I believe in second chances, but is it because Selena was an icon that I feel like, fuck that, like she should not get a chance?
Murder's murder, bro. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, she had to have planned it, or it didn't happen by fucking accident.
Murder well, she claims it happened by accident. She claims it was Selena's fault for.
Well, she got caught up, fucking messing with the books and stealing money.
Stealing money from fans.
Doesn't matter. It was stealing from the. It was making her look bad.
An organization.
And she got caught up.
Mm-hmm.
And whether you say it was accidental or planned, I mean, obviously she had the weapon.
Yeah. But did you know the kind of life she was living behind Selena? The lady? She was, Selena was dating a doctor in Mexico and keeping it from her man and her dad. And her dad was always telling the lady, like, hey, watch her. Where is she? Call me when she leaves. Call me when she gets back. What the fuck is going on? I'm going to fucking hurt you if you don't fucking... like, follow her, call her right now. And like, so she was going through all this pressure with her dad. La estaba amenazando a la lady. So she went to the point where she, you know, pipes bursted. And she was like, if this bitch is done, all this goes away. So it was kind of like,
Wait.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I'm 0 years old when I found out this story.
For real?
Where does this story come from?
Shit, what do you mean? She was dating a doctor from Mexico.
Like, how do you know this?
And she was flying over there because it's out. Her story is out. She got interviewed and everything.
How come I never heard of this?
I never heard this either.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You guys don't fuck with Selena.
Hey,
like
brought to
that.
you here first on Sisko and Mike.
Oh, shit.
Fucking Isaac
TMZ
investigates.
Isaac,
Oh,
you
man.
hear it first.
If you hear it, you're going to be like, damn, low key.
I must have to do some
That
research on this.
shit would
But-
fuck with.
But at the same time, at the end of the day, that's not an excuse to kill
Yeah,
someone.
that's
and
not an
shit.
excuse to
Well,
murder
I mean,
somebody,
so if I'm suppressing the shit out of you, I come to work, I smack you in the back of the head all the time. I'm asking you, hey, tell Mike to fucking get his shit together. You're gonna be like, fool, I'm not a supervisor, dog. What if you burst and sock me in the face? Then I'm gonna be like, oh, he deserves 100. She's gonna be like, has anybody spoken to Sisko though?
Quit the job.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Quit the fucking job. Oh, I'm gonna quit by murdering this.
But I
It
guess
doesn't work that way, fool.
Yeah.
Selena would be like, you can't because you know too much about me. So Selena would pay her and then tell her several shit, and she would take money from the business to give it to Selena to take those trips.
You want to know why I find that hard to believe? Because what you're saying is true.
Allegedly.
No, I didn't say
Allegedly.
that. I didn't say that. I heard
Allegedly.
that.
Yeah, well, I'm
Allegedly.
just saying if what you're saying is true
Oh,
For
yeah.
entertainment purposes only.
is, and they had, like, you're right. If she would have left Selena, she knew too much, more likely they would cap her, right? Why did they cap her right after? How many people have not got caught up on shit right now, and all of a sudden they end up hung in jail, or somehow they died in jail? You see what I'm saying? Especially in Texas, where it's like, hey, fool, hire the Mexican mobsters from Mexico in the jail from estuvo. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, bro. I don't know. I've never heard the story, so I'm not saying you're lying. I don't even think it comes from you because you didn't tell the story. You weren't there. You probably read it somewhere. You probably had more knowledge about
I
it.
seen it on YouTube.
You know what the thing is? I think that when someone passes away, fool, that person's not here to defend if it's true the claims or not. I feel like we see it all the fucking time. You know, like when someone's not able to defend themselves, you start seeing everything come out. So all the stories come out and shit.
It's gay.
Yeah, you hear everything literally and shit, you know? But for me, as far as her being on parole and shit, I don't know, dog. Like, I feel like you're right, murder is murder.
So you don't believe she served her time?
Yeah, but some of the shit she says still to this day makes me feel like she still hasn't had remorse or grown in that sense, you know? I feel like, for example, she already has a documentary series lined up if she gets out. So she's already like trying to make money off this. And my whole thing, and she's still blaming the family and Selena for it. You know, maybe because of that. I don't know. But at the same time, it'd be like, look, a lot of shit happened, but I wish it didn't go down that way. You
Yeah,
know,
but
like,
not everybody's like you.
yeah, but then
The world
then,
is a weird place.
But then should we release someone that thinks that way? That's my
okay,
thing.
do 20 years for some shit that you were made to do or felt like you were just blinded by it. You'd probably be like, okay, well, why not look at her point of view? Why not? Okay, when the documentary comes out, her dad's probably gonna look like a fucking tyrant. Selena's dad, or the boyfriend, or all the people that are contacting her
again,
about
that's
Selena.
one side of you.
Right.
So her documentary is going to be
Her story.
perspective.
Yeah, her story only.
Right.
And then there's their perspective.
There's always a middle ground, which is the truth.
Yeah, and nobody's ever going to know the truth. Just like the Tupac murder, you know what I'm saying? There's all kinds of shit. And I know you're going to talk about Tupac in a little bit, but, you know.
Nipsey Hussle.
Exactly. All this shit, nobody knows. Nobody knows the truth. And you're right, when somebody dies, shit starts popping off. Like, oh, shit, this fool.
And to be honest, I think, like, I don't want to say she did break a lot of barriers, but I think when she passed away, it did change a lot of things. For example, for me, and I have a funny story regarding when Selena, I remember we were in elementary and shit, right? And when she passed away, everybody was like, I remember the girls that were listening to her be like, oh my God, did you hear Selena died? And I was like, fuck? I was like, wait. And they're like, oh my God, did you hear Selena died? And we had a girl in our school named Selena. Right?
So you're
and then
school.
I didn't know Selena the singer. Right? I didn't know there was a singer named Selena.
No way you didn't know Selena.
So when they told me, Selena, did you hear Selena passed away? She got killed. Fool, I was like, fuck, our classmate died. That's fucking crazy, right? And then later I found out that when I saw her, I was like, what the fuck? They fucking lied to me and shit. Selena didn't die.
You went up to her and you fucking touched her?
No, I was like,
School was credit for the wrong Selena.
So it was like one of those things. And then I started finding out after, once the radio starts playing Selena Quintanilla, you know, and you start hearing the songs and it's like, oh shit. That's who Selena is, you know? And I've always wondered, like, do you think some artists are catapulted? Because like I said, maybe she was already big. And I know she was big, but from seeing documentaries and films and people that follow that. But do you guys think that sometimes, like, for example, do you think her career was catapulted because of what happened to her?
I think back in the day, dog, it wasn't like you can jump on YouTube and just blow her up. The way it was back in the day, for the way it was, she was big, dog.
Yeah, it was a grind.
She was selling out.
I think she was getting there, like, to being like, huge pop culture.
Because she had just recorded her English version songs, and she was making that change to mainstream.
She made both versions, you know what I mean? So yeah, she was making that.
Because it was what, Dreaming of You, right? The last song that's one of the most popular songs in English.
I see what you're saying. I think, fool, it does catapult somebody, especially in that era. The fact that she died young, but she already had a repertoire of like music, fool. Yeah. So I think I've always wondered that with her, or even with like Tupac, right? And I'm bringing Tupac in because he died young too, and he died, you could say at the height of his career. Then I look at it, Snoop Dogg, and don't get me wrong, I love Snoop. Snoop is the shit. But let's be honest, his music's not the best anymore.
Yeah.
He hasn't came out with any good songs in what? 10, 15 years? And so you start wondering, did that catapult, like you said, did them dying actually made them bigger?
It made their music more valuable?
More
because
valuable,
there's not going to be any
less? And what happens if Tupac would have been alive right now? Would he have been just another Ice Cube, another...
Well, shit, even then, that fool released albums, bro.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It gets to a point where you're like, I heard enough Tupac. Or it's like, no, shit, Tupac, Biggie, because they were at the height of their career. Selena had a bunch of badass songs, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And she was at the height of her career, and everybody, all the girls wanted to be her. I couldn't fucking go anywhere without hearing Bidi Bidi Bam Bam everywhere, you know?
Yeah.
Bidi Bidi Bam Bam. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think maybe dying young, and we could even go back. I don't know if you want to jump into this already. Richie Valens.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, because Richie Valens, and I love oldies, but the one thing that I always remember about Richie Valens, it's not really his music. It's not really his music. It was his story, and the tragic end to his life that really makes me appreciate his music. He like, if you think about it, he only has like 2 songs that were really hits that are continuing now, Donna and La Bamba, right? You hear La Bamba, which was already a song that I didn't even know was a song,
it was
until,
a folk song.
Yeah, it was a folk song.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things where it's like, damn, like you start hearing him, and in reality, he was only able to make a couple of songs, but what catapulted him and what makes him an icon to me in our culture, you know, is the fact that his story and how he tragically died.
Do you know Tupac's story?
Somewhat, yeah.
Yeah, he has a crazy story too. Selena has a good story.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to say. That
Singing in Spanish when she didn't even speak Spanish.
exactly.
Boosting the fucking Tex-Mex or Mex.
Tejano,
Yeah,
what they
like
call it,
just
Tejano.
giving it
Tex-Mex,
just putting it on the map, like solidifying that shit.
Yeah,
That's
so
hard.
that's what I'm saying. Like when I look back at these people, and it's like because they passed away so young. Like, are they icons because of their music, or are they icons because of the long-lasting impression that they left?
They're icons because there's more people out here suffering, and they know that they like, you know, people in those ghettos. They know the ins and outs of that little boy and that little girl, and that's what moves. It just moves the people. You know what I mean?
So do you think it's the story, their
yeah,
story,
I
their
think it's
life
a
story?
story, dog. I think it's seeing a little kid that had nothing, had to live with his teacher for a while because he didn't have shit. His parents, you know, like his drug addict mother and all that
Yeah.
shit. And then all of a sudden you see this kid on the limelight and everybody in the fucking stadium is just bouncing to it. What does that do
Yes.
for the homies in the hood? You're like, shit, like that shit is mega, dog. You do more by who you are than a lot of times by what you're saying, you know?
Yeah.
Here's a curveball. Biggie, right? Everybody says best rapper come out of
Biggie
New York,
too.
right? One of the best, right?
New York.
Out of the East Coast, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The king.
All right. Obviously, he was associated with who?
He did it.
He did it, right?
Right.
Obviously, everybody knows now.
P. Diddy was
Diddy
the
is-
king back then.
But back then, but
He was a
now
kingpin.
you can't do nothing with P Diddy because, that's tainted. That's done.
Yeah, yeah,
Biggie's considered an icon, right? In rap.
for sure.
Would he be alive? He would definitely have been associated with Diddy.
100%.
Would that take away his icon status if he was alive?
Fuck no, Biggie was a boss, homie. Biggie would have seen that and been like, I'm gone.
You know what's
I don't know about that.
You know what's
He-
crazy for me?
He didn't need Diddy.
I think maybe that's why he got killed.
Yeah, he was
Diddy
getting
needed
ready to
him.
leave.
Yeah, Diddy needed him.
Maybe that's why he got killed.
So here's one thing that I think that a lot of people might disagree with is the fact that I've come to the part where I can kind of separate the artist from their life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I can appreciate Michael Jackson's music.
Yeah, I can appreciate Diddy's music and
Yeah,
R.
like-
Kelly's
yeah,
music.
he has
and
some- exactly, so,
bangers.
yeah,
you know,
he
you're
has
gonna tell me
bangers.
that Keys in the Ignition wasn't making you bounce? That
Yeah.
shit was a banger.
Like Step in the Name of Love. You know, like
hell
all that
yeah.
shit. I
Hey,
remember,
what comes to your mind now that you think that you hear it?
like now you hear it, it's like,
Oh,
wow.
you know,
hey, you know why or how he
hey,
wrote
bro,
it.
But I'm
Yeah.
gonna be honest. I'll still be like, all right, turn that shit off in like 3 minutes.
Yeah. You know,
Let that shit go for a
like,
little bit. You know.
I fucking sorry. I don't mean.
No,
I move forward when a Diddy song comes on. I'm just like, oh shit, no Diddy. And especially
No
because I
Diddy.
do like no Diddy. That one.
But the reason I let it sometimes maybe is because of what the memories it brings me.
Yeah.
Of getting ready
sure.
to go out, getting ready. You know what I mean? Not because he's just what
Yeah.
he, you
You're
know,
more than a friend. You're like a brother to me.
we were more than friends. We were like
There you go.
lovers.
like brothers.
Yeah, so for me, like I'm able to do that. There are limits. Like sometimes when I hear certain songs, like from R. Kelly, like this motherfucker or Diddy, this motherfucker's telling us exactly what the fuck he was
Yeah.
doing, and it's
Yeah,
like,
that's
He's
true.
out in the open with
it's a
it.
little too far. I can't fucking do that shit, you know. But it's like I'm able to do that. Like Michael Jackson, same shit, you know. Like yeah, like so his story and everything. Like I've been able to separate that aspect of it. But yeah, just to go back, I mean, there has been a lot of artists, and that is a major question. Now we're talking about Aaliyah. Would you consider Aaliyah an icon too?
See,
She
like,
died young too.
all
See,
that-
I wouldn't consider her an icon.
But all that goes back to like what they could have been. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they're like solidified as kind of like icon. Like, because if they did this kind of body of work already, what could they have reached?
You know what I
They were stopped from reaching full potential.
you know what I compare it to? You know how you have that one crush, your dream girl, right? You always think about the what if. You talk to this girl or she's your ex-girlfriend and you're like, damn, I wonder what would have happened. I kind of compare it to that.
Exactly.
And that's what makes that so enticing. Those artists so enticing is like, damn, like looking back, they had this and imagine what could have happened, you know?
Like, who else died with Richie?
Jerry Lee Lewis.
No, it wasn't
No,
Jerry
no,
Lewis.
no.
It was
Fats Domino? No, not Fats
no,
Domino.
it wasn't
No.
Jerry Lee Lewis for sure.
It was.
He was
it
a
was
great-
It was
Oh, no,
another.
it wasn't him.
It was another.
Buddy Holly.
Buddy Holly, there you go.
Buddy Holly.
He was young as fuck too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what could have been? And he has some hits.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and then just to go back, like same thing, like with Tupac, and I keep bringing it up because I feel like that was one of the biggest things. Like he died at a point, and it was the same thing. His music had been out. His music had been out, and yeah, there was bangers, but those really didn't like reflect with me. Like you said, Tupac's,
Bro.
like California Love, all those shits. Yeah,
Only God Can Judge Me Now is like my ultimate favorite song.
but now, right? But at that time,
no, because I've always been judged growing up.
But what I'm
for
trying to say,
things I did,
yeah,
and I'm like, well, only God can judge me.
yeah,
Fuck your judgment, fool.
yeah.
That's my ultimate
You
banger.
can only answer to one.
But for me, it was like not all his songs were out.
Yeah.
Like remember, radio is mainstream, and they play a certain amount of songs, but
Selected
songs. So when this fool passed away, you started fucking all his CDs, his albums, his
They were
downloads.
bumping it like a motherfucker too.
Everybody was bumping everything, and you start fucking hearing songs that are like, oh shit, like with Scarface, Smile song like that, banger and shit. Yeah, like like you start hearing bangers like like Brenda's Got a Baby, like that shit was not playing on the radio.
Dear Mama.
Yeah, Dear Mama, that one was on the radio, but songs like that, like you don't hear it, like oh shit. But yeah, I don't know, that part is a trip to me. I don't know, like I feel like I don't know how I feel about that. If them passing away really makes them icons, or it's because of the stories. Or
Some
not.
people go as far as to say, well, let me see your numbers. Let me see how much you sold. And if you sold a certain amount, then that makes you legendary. If not, then you're nobody.
Yeah, because they got artists like, well, in New York, there was one, Big L. And he was huge in New York, bro. And there's a theory, allegedly, that Jay-Z killed him because they had like the same style. And they were supposed to set up a battle, and it never happened because Jay-Z didn't want to lose to him.
Well, look at Big Pun and Fat
Big
Joe.
Pun.
Big Pun was a monster compared to Fat Joe. Fat Joe was his little homie.
Yeah, he was a psychic.
And he
No, but
was
Fat Joe found him.
he would have been the king of Terror Squad. But he passed
But that's
away.
Housewives. No conspiracy there.
Yeah,
Shit.
that's
That
what
was
fucking
something
Big
shit.
Pun was
big activities.
Big
and
Pun,
shit.
Big Pun was Terror Squad.
Yeah, he was Terror Squad.
But Big L was murdered.
Yeah.
Smoked that fool.
And speaking of Terror Squad, dog, there's a lot of terror happening in the streets right now. Fucking Tesla dealerships and shit. I don't know if you guys have seen that. There's people are rioting now. Not rioting. They're terrorizing Tesla dealerships and burning Tesla cars.
Yeah, well, they're putting notes on Tesla owner cars
Based on what?
saying trade this shit or your shit's gonna be fucked up.
Why?
Because Tesla is a Trump supporter.
Well, because if Elon Musk, and as a Tesla stockholder, fuck you, Elon. Stop
Sell
the
that shit.
politics. Go back to fucking
your
Tesla,
stocks.
Sell your
or
stocks.
stop getting involved in fucking government.
donate the
A
money.
lot of it is because I don't know if you realize that Elon is heavily involved in the government right now, and he's been cutting people's fucking funding. He's firing a shitload of
Jobs.
people, job loss. So a lot of people fucking hate him right now. And let's be real, his cars are fucking shitty. The Tesla has 36. The Tesla Cybertruck has 36
Are you
recalls.
serious?
Yeah,
That's the truck,
Damn.
the truck. A lot of the bumper shit, a lot of the sheet metal is falling off.
Come on.
Yeah, so
though.
it's
Like peeling
peeling
off.
off.
Well, no wonder that shit catches on fire easily.
So there's a lot of things that are like, a lot of it was his innovation, but a lot of it now people are protesting him because he's so involved in that.
But see, now you're judging them like you said you wouldn't judge the artists. You're saying I can put his beliefs to the side based on his music. We'll put his political campaign away from his cars and shit.
It's not about So it's not about no matter about what you believe. I can respect that you believe in this type of God. I can respect that you do this. But when you use your power to harm what you're supposed to protect, then I no longer have a fucking.
So
understanding
if I
with you.
like the Tesla car, but I don't like him, I can't buy it.
You can.
You
but
can.
The cars are trash.
Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that. But what we're talking about is that there's people out there that are gonna say, yeah, you cannot buy it.
There's
Yeah,
people out
that's
there that
crazy.
can separate it. For example, I can separate his government. Like I'm pissed at him as a stockholder, right?
What are you
Me.
mad about? Like because he's fucking up your business or
Because
something?
he's fucking
or-
up my money.
That's
He's
your-
fucking with
yeah.
my money. So him being in all this shit's fucking up my money. But at the same time, I disagree with 100% of what he's doing as a person. As the world's richest man, he could do so much for the world, and he's not. And he's trying to fuck people's over. He's trying to.
How is he trying to fuck people?
He's not trying. He's doing
He's
it.
fucking people. He's cutting.
He's
funding.
ahead of,
He
he's in a
defund the
position of
education.
power where he can control
He bought the
who gets
presidency.
fired, who gets fired, what things are gonna be cut. He fucking went into the Social Security Administration and collecting all the data from Social Security Administration for people that are getting Social Security, Medi-Cal, Medicare, and he's trying to cut all of that shit. So tell me,
veterans.
if you relied on that, wouldn't that be fucked up?
That would be fucked.
He cut veterans help, the suicide hotline that they have.
He cut it. He cut that.
it.
That's
He's
fucking
cutting.
nuts.
He's cutting federal jobs. You know, we know someone that works in the federal government. Their department was hit. Like literally, I think it was like 200,000 people have lost their jobs in the federal workforce because of him
and counting.
And he's trying to cut a bunch of other shit.
Well, they cut educational funding.
Yeah, education, the department. So
no more preschool,
yeah,
no more.
So here's the thing:
free lunch.
He donated like $200 million worth to the Trump campaign. You know what? If he wanted to change the world and make it better, you know what that does? That ends fucking world hunger and shit. 200 million just to get Trump elected, right? So it's like you're the richest man in the world and you have so much influence, but you're using it to make it about yourself, to gain your power, to do what you want, to put yourself in the limelight.
As he should.
But
that's
your
money. That's your money. You know how hard it is to make that kind of money?
But you're using it in the wrong way.
But it don't matter.
So with that comes
you're not supposed to
consequences.
pocket watch.
Yeah,
That's fine.
Yeah,
but that comes consequences.
Yeah, and that's what's
Yeah,
happening.
That's where the wrong
No,
of
it
the
does.
world
But
come
that's why they're
about.
burning Tesla cars and shit.
It
That's
does.
what
But
Tesla-
if I was the richest man in the world, I'd do what the fuck I want to do. Not
Yeah.
what,
But
not
would-
what the whole United States needs.
But would
I
you
wouldn't
make
give
it
a
about
fuck.
helping people and changing people's lives by cutting their help and calling them freeloaders?
But if it's fucking with my money, everybody's going.
It's not. His money's being fucked with now because
Yeah.
he's fucking it up by
He
fucking doing
nobody
this.
was fucking with his money.
Yeah.
People liked him.
People were supporting
buying
him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people were supporting him.
until he started fucking with people's money.
But I think he helped on his way up, and now
No, he never helped. He takes credit for a lot of things. And I will say this: as a businessman, you can say that he's smart because he's invested in the right companies.
right.
But he touts himself as the founder of a lot of companies. He didn't find Tesla. He didn't create Tesla. He was the biggest investor, and he became the CEO.
he believes in it.
And he became the CEO, right? But when he's on the news, when I found Tesla, no, you didn't find it.
So he never helped anybody.
No, he invested into it and he brought it up.
So
and
why
he
did
became
you
a
invest
CEO.
into it?
Huh?
Why did you invest into
Because
it?
I saw the innovation and I saw Tesla's a great company. The AI, the cars, forget about the cars, solar energy,
Solar energy.
robots,
So
AI.
then that's all you got to worry about.
Yeah, but now it's fucking it up because
They're fucking with him.
no, because he's not focused on that. He's focused on the other shit, but he's making it about him. You know what I'm saying? So he's not really like, I want to help humanity. He's helping humanity by what? By how? Cutting people's lifelines, calling them freeloaders for being on Social Security. You know what I'm saying? Yet he is bailed out because he has billions and billions of dollars worth of government contracts. His companies are worth shit if he doesn't have those contracts. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how can you be a hypocrite and say, oh, I'm going to cut this because you guys are freeloaders, but he's getting contracts.
Which is a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's so close to the president, but he's getting the contract.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
Like, did you see they're fucking doing a commercial in the front yard of Teslas when Trump didn't even know how to turn it on and shit, but they're trying to, because Tesla sales have been low for the last couple of years. So they did like this whole thing in front of the White House where they had a bunch of Teslas and, oh, this is such a great car. But a couple of years ago, a lot of Republicans were like, electric, fuck that, fuck the clean
Oh, yeah,
energy.
because they want oil money.
Yeah,
no,
want oil.
not just that, coal.
Yeah. So
Coal
it's
and
like,
oil.
So it's like shit like that. But yeah, it's a trippy thing that's happening right now. And yeah, I mean,
What I'm gonna say is, if you own a Tesla,
Trade it.
yeah, I would sell it or trade it. I know, I get it. Why should you? Blah 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 blah. Well, you see the people around. It's your own. If you're up to the consequences, that's up to you.
but it's not even that. It's not even about the consequences. There's going to be stupid ass people that do stupid ass things like burning cars and all
Yeah.
that. I think it's
That's extreme.
yeah, but I think it's at the end of the day. Yeah, you're right. It's more extreme. Just don't buy the vehicles,
Just
right?
don't buy the vehicle.
And-
Or do a fucking protest in front of the dealership.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But why are you gonna go and fucking vandalize shit? Like,
Exactly.
That, I get it. Just don't buy the shit.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what's really hurting the stock price, right? But at the end of the day, it's just like, yeah, it's a shitty ass car in the first place. First of all, the Cybertruck is shit.
It looks like a trash can.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, as a guy that does a lot of stainless work, like I can tell you that shit's shit. The way it looks and the way it's
But it's
finished.
bulletproof.
Yeah, it's not. Remember when you threw the fucking thing and it broke the
It
window?
broke the window.
Like it's shatterproof. But
Yeah, that's crazy. Just be careful, people.
Just
yeah, I don't know. And-
don't go too extreme with that shit, man.
Yeah, and
That's too
whatever your
wild.
political ideologies is, just share them, represent them, and stand up for them and your morals. But do it respectfully in a way where you're not vandalizing. But yeah. Anyways, anybody else got anything to add?
I think you covered two key, Selena's thing's been going on for years, but she's been coming up every year for parole. And then the whole thing with Tesla. Um, I'm sure there's other things going on, but this is a short segment, so we only get to cover two.
Yeah.
Next time we'll cover something else. But yeah, I think
You guys got anything?
No, I'm good.
I just, you think she's getting out?
That's a good question. I didn't even think about it. We talked about the whole topic. But we
You
didn't
think,
know.
you think she's getting out?
I don't think she is gonna get out because they're gonna use her as a way to be like, fuck with someone known and you're fucked.
Use her as an example,
Yeah.
basically.
I don't think that's the way that works. I think it's you join programs in prison. You got to act right. They check your whole thing. They see how much time it is to become a better person. You got to get degrees. You got to, and then they read it. And it's like my homie says, I ain't never seen a grown man cry until I see them get denied by the fucking parole board for the second time. That's when you see a grown man cry when he's going to go home and they say,
You ain't
Hey,
going home.
you ain't fixed yet.
Our justice system's fucked up.
You're
Remember
not
that.
fixed
You
yet.
can do whatever the fuck you want that's positive inside. If the
No.
justice system doesn't like you, you're fucked.
No, the thing is they want you to be a positive person
don't
amongst
want
a bunch of negative people.
I don't believe that. They just see us some money.
I think she's gonna get out.
You think so?
That's not this year, not next year. I think before the end, before we hit 2030, she'll be out. She's still healthy, but I think somebody's gonna cap her.
They would have done it already.
No, I think
they
the
would've
person
done
that's
it
gonna
already.
cap her is on the outside.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
if she gets out, yeah.
Somebody that on the outside. It ain't gonna be no gangster. It's gonna be somebody that was passionate about Selena.
But
And-
I don't think they're gonna tell you she's out. It's gonna be like a protective service type shit where you're gonna know about her being out a year later.
And that's a great way to end it because we just talked about this. If you feel a certain way very strongly, don't fucking take certain actions and shit. Don't burn cars and don't go kill
Go
people.
kill
That's true. That's very
But,
true.
all right,
man.
so everybody, hey, peace out.
Peace out.
Later.